into the Sisters Talk podcast. I'm your host, Danny M. And today we have three special guests, one of which you've already seen on the show. I think you came on last year, Jennifer. And
Yeah,
she
last
is the
year.
owner. Yes. Yeah, you came on because you were sharing some information about the academy that you're a part of, which we'll get to in just a moment. And so now she's bringing on two additional guests because this year you are the writer and filmmaker of Aniya's Escape. This is your baby, your
Yeah,
short film,
absolutely. Yes, that's correct.
which is so awesome. And we want to thank all our guests for tuning in today. I don't know about where you are today, but listen, in Houston, it is pouring down. It's been raining for 2 weeks straight, I feel like. So I guess we're in El Nino or El Nina. I know Jacob, India, you probably know which one it is. Tell me, what am I saying this wrong? Am I saying the wrong one?
It's El Nino, probably.
There you go. I know it was one of them. India's like, that's the one. So Jennifer, before we get started, we want you to tell everybody who you are. Tell the audience what you're working on now, and also tell them about your academy, which is so amazing and directed towards our youth.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Well, thank you again for having me on. I think this might be the second year, probably. Last year, I think we might have even done something in 2019 as well. So thank you again. But I am the founder of the Achievement Academy Llc. It is a life skills program, a total program, really, because now we've branched off into productions. But it originally started out as a life skills program, helping young adults, high school, college students, kind of all the way up until age maybe around 23, 24, learn some really, really critical life skills to help transition right from that dependent living, like at home, in college with their parents, into the real world. And so that's really how this whole thing started back in 2018, just doing programs, doing in-person workshops, and expanding. And so, and I'm also the co-founder of the Youth Awards, so the Youth Academic and Community Outreach Awards, which we did here in Houston in December 2019. Of course, with the pandemic, we had to skip 2020, but it will be back soon. But for now, what we're doing now, it's called the Achievement Academy Productions. And so basically I expanded. I've been writing since the age of 10, and really just had a lot of stuff sitting in my head and not doing anything with it. And that became a little bit frustrating just over the years. And so after a conversation, honestly, with you last year, we were talking, and I think I was just like, yeah, I have to get this short film out, and I was really trying to brainstorm it, like, how can this happen? And I really wanted to tie it all into the Achievement Academy, because like, what better way, I'm already dealing with the young adults and things like that and helping them with that life skills. So my thought process was, what better way than offer that same type of opportunity for the same age group, but give them an opportunity to gain more experience and exposure on films, films, and actually even in the music industry as well. So it's all about just reaching out and giving others an opportunity, not that they don't have experience, but just give them an opportunity to get more experience, more exposure, working on a real life production.
Love it, love it, love it. And guys, Jacob, India, how did you feel being a part of such a huge project? Oh, you have to unmute yourselves. Yeah.
I really felt, I'm really thankful to Jennifer for like picking me to be a part of this, because it's just been like this story in general. When she told me about it, when she first told me about it, I was like intrigued, and I was really interested. And I was ready to be a part. And I just feel really grateful for Jennifer for picking me to be a part of it. And it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thankful for Jennifer as well too. Like, this has been such an amazing journey. I had so much fun on set, just filming, hanging out with everybody. It felt like a whole family. Uh, there was like some challenges for acting for me, but it made me like a better actor though. It made me improve.
I love that. I love the honesty, the transparency, and I love the fact that Jennifer, you're giving our youth the opportunity to really, capitalize on their talents. That's something that I promote
Yeah.
on Sisters Talk all the time. Not even just for our youth, but for the adults as well. There's so many adults that are walking around with so much talent, and we just, like you said, Jennifer, you store it. You don't know how to put it out in a positive way where it will be effective and where people can actually understand your message. So I love what you're doing here. I love what you're doing with our youth, and we need more of this, in 2021 moving forward. So
yeah, well, there are definitely more to come as well. So
that is awesome. That is awesome. And I was actually going to ask you, what's changed since the last time I've seen you on the show?
not well, because of the pandemic, right? I was actually in the process of taking the life skills program virtual before the pandemic ever hit. And so it was, along those lines, and I was going through the process of doing the research, putting things together. We were about to have another in-person workshop, and then the pandemic hit. And honestly, I took that as my time to just really go back to the drawing board, because I know, like, that's a baby for me. But I knew that there was so much more, like there was so much more to it. And I really wanted to, it gets frustrating when you're walking around with that talent, or you're walking around with, this story in your head. And so it's not, for me, it's not just one. Like I'm literally sitting on, multiple short stories, and that will be turned into films or, plays and whatever. So I was finally like, okay, enough is enough. I got a chance to just really, travel in 2020 and just relax a little bit and de-stress, kind of declutter my life, and really take inventory of, like, okay, what's next for me? I know I'm going to continue doing the life skills, but there's more to it. And how can I, reach other people? Like you said, I mean, it's not just youth, it's the adults. And so it started out as production and film, and just kind of me tapping into my own circle. And I found out that India and one of the other actors, Tabitha Lee, I found out that they were singers. And I was like, you know what better way to really complete this, this production than to pull them in and also be able to show the world. I mean, the world's seen it in some way or another, but to be able to share their talent on film in some way was another add to the production side. And so we just actually yesterday came from Austin. We took a trip to Austin. We, got up and met up around 6:30 in the morning, drove to Austin, got in the recording studio. And so, that's just another way. And I think, and I don't know how they do it, in Hollywood, I'm not really sure. I don't really compare myself or try to. I create what I feel needs to be created. And I didn't want to just do it like, okay, this is a short film and we're done. Like the filming's done and that's it. Like I really wanted to, bring them on the podcast, like be able to pull them into the recording studio, have a photo shoot at the beginning. We're having a film premiere at a movie theater on June 26th. And so I wanted to kind of have that complete experience, because we are talking about younger group, and we do have adults, but mostly, we have an actor that's 12, 14, 15, 19, 20. And so those are the main ones. And it's just like to be able to give them in some capacity that experience on the film. And they all have different levels of experience. Some are brand new, have never acted before. Some have been, and this is just of my 5, some have been doing it for a couple of years or more. So it's just a true blessing, in my opinion, to be able to share this experience with everyone.
Awesome. I love it. And for everybody that's tuned in, thank you so much, Kathy Tatum, for tuning in, all the great things she does for the Houston community and more. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Jeff Strange, shout out to Jeff Strange Radio. Whenever you guys get done with your filming, Jennifer, in terms of studio time and production, shout out to Jeff Strange and Jeff Strange Radio. Go on to his show for an interview as well. He's in New York, so spread that information. And also for everybody that's tuned in today, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you share it. Sharing is absolutely free. Help get the word out about this amazing film, guys. So, and thank you, Jennifer. Also, thank you, India and Jacob. You guys are teenagers. You could be doing anything else with your time, but you're right here at the Sisters Talk podcast. So I thank you for that. So let me ask you, Jennifer, you're a film writer and director now, right?
Yeah.
So tell us what inspired you to take this role, this direction with Aniya's Escape.
Well, for those who don't know, my story it's probably a long one, so I'll make it really quick. I had a head-on collision with a drunk driver back in August of 2000. So not 2019, we're talking 21 years ago. And so I actually had lost a lot of my memory, the connections to the world and who I was at the time at the age of 19. And so I, in a sense, kind of became this new person, which wasn't a bad thing. You know, we all go through life, but I just unintentionally dropped a lot of the things that I was working on as at their age, honestly, like all of my dreams and passions and things that I was really pursuing. I was getting ready to, you know, I had been in school for about a year in audio engineering, and I was wanting to go into film. And when this accident happened, like everything in my life changed. And so I'm just now, you know, 20 years later, 19, 20 years later, kind of coming full circle. And it was the weirdest thing. I can honestly say, when I finally picked this up, I was having a conversation with my brother, and I was like, you know what, God put it in my heart to say, like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to go ahead and pursue. And I just remember having that conversation sitting in my room one day with him, and I was like, okay, so he told me to do it, and I just got busy. I started. And someone asked me, like, where did all this come from, considering you've been doing accounting for all of these years and working on, you know, life skills programs? And honestly, I say, I don't know. It was all within, it was here, it was in my heart, like, and it was in my brain. And so I was able to really just tap into myself and get out of my own way. Because I think a lot of times adults and honestly young adults as well are walking around with talent, but we're in our own way, you know, like we stand in our own way. We lose faith. We let life kind of get in the way. We make excuses for why we can't. And I was that person. I, you know, had a family, had a career, and I forgot about who Jennifer was and all the passion that I had inside of me. And so that's what really inspired me. I wrote this story in 2009. So I've been sitting on it for a very long time. And it's just one day I woke up and I said, okay, God, I hear you. Let's go. And I pitched it to the director of photography, who's the guy, Nikolai Mitchell. I was able to, you know, get referred to him, and I pitched it to him, and he loved it. And here we are.
Awesome. Amazing. Amazing. So in addition to Jennifer's story behind this movie that you guys recently, I'm assuming that you guys have finished the film, correct?
Yeah.
It's complete. Amazing. That's an amazing feeling. So India, how did this film inspire you? I'm pretty sure there were moments where you're trying to recite and remember these lines and you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Or did you ever have any of those moments?
Yeah. As far as like just remembering the lines, it was just a matter of, you know, doing it over and over and reading it over and over, and then just like ad-libbing, going through all the scenes, ad-libbing. That wasn't really too much of a problem, but considering I haven't really acted like seriously in a lead role ever, this is my first short film. This is my first being out in the media exposure as far as acting goes. I've learned a lot, like as far as acting, as far as how to do that, and just like, yeah.
There's a lot. So was it kind of life-changing for you? I don't really know your personality, but for what I'm picking up on, you're a person that's very quiet most of the time. Is that the case, or is that just a cover-up?
I'm pretty extroverted, honestly, but I'd say I'm more of like a quiet extrovert, or like, you know, it really just depends on who I'm around. This was life-changing though. It really opened my eyes to where acting can take you, and where just like meeting the people I met, because meeting Jennifer, meeting Jacob, meeting Nikolai, meeting all these people, it's really opened my eyes to what I can do. Because I mainly want to do music. I sing, I'm playing piano and all that stuff, and I want to pursue music. but how I got in, like how I fell into this role, it kind of said to me like, okay, maybe you can do acting, maybe you can really move forward with this. And actually, yeah, thank you. And I just wanted to say that I signed up for like a casting website in Houston, like local to Houston, and then I would get these emails from the website as far as like roles that were available. And then Aniya's Escape popped up in my email, and I was like, I have a sister named Anaya. Okay, she's 12, and she was also in the short film. And I was like, let me see what this is about. So I really signed up for this because of my sister. So
that's awesome. Look at the universe aligning. That is so unique. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So Jacob, same question to you. How has this film inspired you? How has it changed your life so far?
I think this would be like my second like professional short film that I did. I think it's made me like a better actor, definitely, for sure. Like with all the help. As far as like memorizing lines go, I kind of picked up like on memorizing lines like down the years. It's gotten easier for me as it goes. I would say because I found this role on Backstage, which is an actor's website, and I recently had got a part in another short film, but the guy ghosted on me, and then I found this role, and I somehow just got the role, and it was great. I was happy, I was excited, I was ready.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's talented. That's how he somehow got the role. Okay. He's like, I somehow got it. I don't know.
I don't know how it happened. It just fell in my lap.
He's
good.
That is awesome. Well, there's always a good side, of things. It's glamorous, it's exciting, adrenaline rush of doing a short film, being a part of a short film. Directing a short film can be stressful, I'm sure. So we're going to get right into that next question. What are some challenges that each one of you faced filming Aniya's Escape? Jennifer, you can go first.
Honestly, for me, being like I'm financing this. So for me, I had to plan financially for it. I had to create a budget. I think some people, and with my accounting background, it wasn't hard. So it wasn't necessarily a challenge, but some people skip steps in the process. And so that was one thing that I made sure, like I had legal forms, I had, all of that. It wasn't just like a hobby for me. Like I took it and this was my business, right? And this was all professional. And so I created a platform. So like a communications platform, I signed up for it, where I invited the actors one by one to be able to come, so that I would try to minimize all of this like back and forth, text one, text two, that type of thing. So that was a little bit of a challenge. I mean, the whole casting it wasn't a challenge, but it's like I knew what I had an idea in my head. And so I tried to stick to that as far as I could, so that I didn't just settle for anyone. I wanted to make sure and even for like India, she actually, I saw her on the casting calls, and I was like, that's her. Like I had an image already from just a draft book cover that was done years and years ago. And when I saw her, it was crazy. And I was just like, that's her. And I reached out and I was like, okay, fingers crossed. So all of those things, really, it was a challenge, because when you're doing all of those things at once, and trying to plan a meet and greet and trying to do this, and then, like, okay, who's going to take this project on? Because this is a short film, and, writing the script wasn't hard. It took me less than a month, maybe, to really get it from beginning. And I would say maybe 3 weeks from beginning to end. But it was just all together with all the different tasks. It was definitely a challenge. I think the biggest thing, though, when it was all said and done, it sounds minor, but coordinating time, because of the fact that, everyone has their own schedule. There's students that, they're high school students or junior high students, or they're grown adults with careers. There's, mothers, fathers, like there's families that's involved. And so it doesn't necessarily, it's not easy when, we had a day when we were supposed to be shooting out in the park and it rained. And so I try to be considerate of everyone's time. And it was just like, okay, y'all, please work with me, because at the last minute, I can text everyone and say, hey, we're not going to film. Or I can text everyone at the last minute and I can say, hey, can y'all come? So that was for me, that was the most challenging. Everything else was just a matter of, it was just technical. It was like, okay, get this done. It was a checklist for me, like, do it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so with that being said, how difficult was it for you, India, at times with your schedule, or just you simply tell me, what were some challenges that you faced being a part of this film?
Let's see. When you said challenge, came to mind was, of course, I'm not going to disclose certain things, but just getting in the emotional headspace, I would say, just because I had to do a little research, YouTube, read a couple things just to get in the right. I wanted to, let me be careful what I say. I just wanted to be in the right emotional headspace. That was my biggest challenge. And I had to accurately portray everything. And as far as scheduling, that was a challenge, but Jennifer already, it was more of a challenge. Like I assume on Jennifer's part, just like I'd be ready to come when she said, and then.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's kind of tough being a college student. I don't know if you're in college, high school. Do you mind if I ask?
Yeah. I'm in college at HCC, taking courses at HCC. So everything's online.
Okay. Right. I could imagine it could be pretty
But
tough.
I also,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but I also, sorry, no, I was just gonna say, as far as scheduling, I did take classes at HCC, but I also work part-time at a coffee shop. I'm a barista, so that's my kind of, job. I'm working around because I had to take off a couple days, but it's all right.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean,
Right.
You were able to juggle all of that. That says a lot about your character, says a lot about your time management skills. A lot of us adults don't have that. Okay, so you're doing good. Keep that same energy. And I love the way that you're very careful to make sure that you're saying things with the proper intention. So that's really good that you're learning that at such a young age. So kudos to you, India. Now let's go on down to Jacob. Jacob is awaiting, he's anticipating this question. I don't know what you have for me, Jacob, but you're smiling, so I'm a little scared. What were some of your challenges while you were acting in this film, Anaya's Escape?
The same thing India has said, dealing with these emotional states that these characters go through, and just hopping on this emotional roller coaster throughout the whole film it was very challenging, but we pulled it off. We made it look authentic, realistic, and so that was more challenging.
That's interesting that you said that. When you were doing some of your scenes, was it ever a point where you were saying to yourself as you're reading these lines and memorizing them, like, wow, I can relate to this? Did you ever have any of those moments?
Oh yeah, definitely a couple of scenes where the dialogue kind of hit home a little bit. So yeah, I could relate.
Yeah, I bet. So this sounds good. I don't want to give it away. I'm ready to see this film, Jennifer. Look, okay, wait a minute.
Yes.
So what attracted you to India and Jacob to taking the role in this movie? Like when you first saw it, what did you say to yourself? Like, oh my God, I want to be a part of this, but why? It's on you, India. The ball's in your court.
Sorry, I thought you were asking Jennifer that question. Okay. Let's see. Well, first, like I said, I saw Anaya's Escape. I thought of Anaya, got into it, and then I met Jennifer. She told me about the plot. She told me everything that was the genre of the film, everything that was gonna happen, and I was just listening, taking it all in. And she told me about herself, and I was just taking it all in, listening. And it was just something that I wanted to be a part of. I don't really know how to explain it. It just
Right. But now with that being said, is there anything that you would have done differently in this film?
I maybe I'm not really too sure. Maybe done more research just so I can really. I'm not going to give any details once
Okay.
again. Just do more research, and then again, I have never acted before, so I really did my best to make everything as realistic as possible, natural as possible. Maybe done more research on acting, reacting. I did afterwards, which is kind of weird. Like everything's already done, but I did some research. But
it's called growth and learning. I think it's amazing. So that sounds like you learned a lot from this project. That's what I like to hear. So it's all good, India. I'm gonna see you on the big film. You're already gonna be on a big film, right? We'll get to that in just a second. I'm almost there. So Jacob, let me ask you that same question. So what we've already talked about the challenges, right? But what would you have done differently in this film? Or would you have done nothing differently?
Yeah, I definitely would have want to do more research and try to like develop my character a little bit, because most of the time I interpreted like the whole character like myself. Like I took bits and pieces from characters I've seen in movies, but most of it was me. So
nice. I bet that was really easy for you to just be authentic, just be yourself. That's less stress. That's a very good point. So Jennifer, as a screenplay writer, as now a film producer and director, what is some advice that you would give people who have that information trapped in their minds and they don't know how to release it?
Honestly, the first thing I would say is research. So I know that's like the going theme, but I would definitely say research, especially if you don't have a background in it. I think for me, it was a little different. I may have done a little research, but it was in my head and it was in my heart. And so it flowed for me. But I would definitely say research, and then that budget, like because you don't really know. The research is helpful because you don't know that there's all these different pieces to it. And if most people will, they're going to think, oh, I want to do a short film. I can just grab my phone, and I can grab my friends, and I can do this and that, and then they just go. And there's so much more to it, and there's things that, even though I thought about it, I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but I thought about, just from our conversation right before, you talked about sound, and I think it was sound and something, the quality of just the phone.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking to myself,
I was talking to you about it was a lot of things I learned, but yeah.
Exactly. And so I tried to take those points at the beginning, that, the things that you shared with me at the beginning. And I started watching, like some YouTube and something. And I was like, I'm going to do this myself. And I started really getting into it. I was like, oh, no, I'm not. So, I started to reach out to just individuals like, okay, are you willing to do this? I don't really have I don't have any money. Like, I got a little bit of budget, like this small. And so I was just trying to see who's willing to believe in me. Because that's really what it was all about. Like, I know you don't know me, but who can believe in me? And it just so happened, I was referred to Nikolai, and we had a conversation. And, that conversation was like, hey, this is this is a little bit about me. I've been sitting on this story for, since 2009. And, he said, send me the script. And I'm very hard on myself. So when I sent him the script, I had this little short paragraph, like, okay, so I know it's probably not in the right format. And I know this, and I know that, and, but I can do it. And he said, and don't quote me on it, but he sent me a message back, and he was like, Jennifer Smith, you're a fire. Like, let's go, in so many words. And he was so excited about it. And he had read the script, and he was like, I love it. And him reading that and believing in me, that was kind of what I'm trying to do for someone else, is what he did for me, right? It's like he saw that script and he loved it. And if it wasn't for that, because me doing it myself, we probably wouldn't have been having this conversation. We'd have been like, yeah, so I did it last year and it sucked. So I just kept going. you know, but I really wanted to take the opportunity to put that time, invest that time in and the money as much as I could. And so I would share with other people that's sitting on these ideas to, you know, do your research first and know that it's not really simple. You have to know that there's all these different aspects. There's the audio, you know, there's the video, there's the coordinating the schedule, there's the legal side of things, you know, wanting to cover yourself. You know, there's just so much. There's park permits, you know. I could have easily said, hey, we're going to shoot at the park, just come. And if anyone runs us off, but that's not professional. And so I did everything possible to ensure that from A to Z, it was all professional. And so, you know, I had park permits and I had an RV. We, you know, rented an RV and was able to be out there at the park all day because I won't use party potty. So I was like, if I won't, I'm not going to ask them to. And so, you know, doing things like that and really just going above and beyond when it's all said and done.
Awesome. All professional advice, and I love it. And so, guys, Aniya, Jacob, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this show today. I like to keep my word. I told you I was going to just do this for 30 minutes. I know you guys have things to do, but before I let you go, Jennifer, please let everyone know when the release date is, where we can find the information. Aniya, before we go, please let everybody know where they can follow you. Jacob, the same. I know you guys have a million social media platforms. Just shout it all out. So Jennifer, you go first.
Sure, thank you. So again, it's Anaya's Escape, and we say short film, but we found out it's probably going to be about an hour. So yeah, it may be qualified as a film. I'm not really sure if that's the case, but we're really excited about that. So we will be, as of right now, our release date will be in person. We'll have an in-person film premiere. It will be on June 26th, which is a Saturday. And we'll have 2 showings at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas in La Centera, which is Katy, Texas. And so just to kind of throw it out there, the address is 2707 Commercial Center in Katy, Texas. Again, that's Alamo Drafthouse in Katy, Texas, because I do believe there's 2 in Houston, but just make sure you can go to the website. We will, if you follow us at Achieving Academy on Facebook, as well as at Achieving Academy on Instagram, we will be posting dates. We'll post links. We will do a, you know, the ticket sales. It'll probably be $7. And just so everyone knows, if they're not physically here in Houston, they can, I'll release it out. And so they'll be able to like rent the film for 24, 48 hours to be able to see it from the comfort of their own home, like on their computer. And all of the ticket sales from that will go back to the actors. So I really want to let people know, like, if they can't, they don't have to be here in Houston, anywhere, as if they want to purchase a ticket to see this film once it's released, all of the virtual sales go back to the actors. So we take whatever we earn and we split it 9 ways. There's 9 actors. And so I just want to throw that out there. There is a purpose to this. And then also, if I can, I know we're wrapping up. I just want to say too that 2 of the actors, so India Granger and Tabitha Lee, I wrote a song that will also be in the film, and so they are performing this song, and that's the one we did yesterday. And so they don't know this. They haven't. India, of course, has heard it because she's in it, but Jacob hasn't heard it. So we're going to do a private, kind of like a private party with the actors, and so they'll be able to hear the song. But what India doesn't know, that I just found out this morning, is that we've been requested to do a music video for it.
Congratulations.
Yes.
You know what?
That is awesome.
So we're going to be working on that. Our goal is to get that done. Of course, it's a very short time turnaround because, you know, we have to be done editing everything in 3 weeks. So we may be, I'll be coordinating again, some type of either trip to Austin or something local. But yeah, so we've been requested to turn that into a music video so that way we can show it at the end of the film. And if we don't meet the time deadline, we're going to do it anyway. And then we'll just release it, you know, later. But, you know, what better opportunity, right? I mean, this kind of goes into the theme of just experience and exposure and, you know, from film to music and music videos. And so, yeah, I think that'll be cool. And Jacob, you're going to be in it, just so you know.
You know,
Say less.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm really excited about that great news that I heard this morning. And so, that's courtesy of Interpage Music and True to It Records out of Austin, Texas. They're handling all of the music. So yeah.
That is amazing. Again, congratulations, Jennifer Smith. Listen, I never doubted you, okay, from day one. You move quick. That's what I can say. And you move professionally, and that's what it takes. And so, Jennifer, shout out your handles again so that people can know how to follow you.
Sure. Both Instagram and Facebook is at Achieving Academy. So at Achievement Academy, ACHIEVING Academy. And then also if you look, so I have 2 pages on Facebook. One is just Achievement Academy and one is also Achievement Academy Productions. So regardless of how you follow us, we'll make sure that all of the information is there. We're going to start dropping actor profiles, which is their pictures, a little bit of like tidbits about the actors. And of course, we do have a video on the page that's just a little short behind the scenes, like a minute and a half behind the scenes look at what we've been doing. And if they want to donate, like we can still take donations. If anyone wants to support us, they can send it via Cash App, Aniya's Escape. So ANIYAS Escape.
Nice. That is awesome. India, girl, you have so much going on. This is just the beginning. I'm glad I got you first on the show. I always get the up and coming legends on the show first, or the existing legends. So I'm grateful to God for that. But India, please let everybody know where they can find your information. What are your handles?
All right. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is honestly, I'm just _India. I also have an Instagram specifically for like my covers and music and stuff. That is thereal.jolise, JOLISE. My Twitter is therealjolise, just therealjolise. I have a couple videos on YouTube. It's just India J. But yeah.
Do you spell it INDIAJ?
Yes.
Okay, great. India J. So make sure you guys go subscribe. Costs you nothing to subscribe, share, like, comment. Keep it going. All right. Thank you so much, India, for being a special guest on our show today. Look forward to seeing you on the big screens very soon. And Jacob, oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Jacob, let them know we can find out where we can find you. I'm sure you're on Instagram, Facebook. No, you're probably not on Facebook. You guys think Facebook is for old people. So shout out your handles.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. It's Jacob_random. So yeah, for both of them.
Okay, great. You're not one of those. My kid says that Facebook is for old people.
Nah, it's for everybody. It's for everybody. No, I used to say that, but it's for everybody. It's for everybody.
Because now you guys are getting older. That's why.
Just because like Instagram and Snapchat, like
yeah,
it's kind of just shifting, but it's for everybody.
I just can't wait to see what you guys are going to do in the near future, because it's definitely happening right now. Like history is being made today. And Jennifer, I just want to thank you one last time for just being you. Like you're amazing and you're doing all that you can for the youth. And we just need that same energy replicated throughout our communities. And I'm just so honored to have you on my show again. And as you already know, any upcoming projects, bring it my way. I would love to have you on, you and your special guest. And I want to thank you 3 for dedicating some of your time on this Sunday. And I look forward to seeing this movie on June 26th. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
At the Alamo Draft House, and it's located in Katy, Texas. That is the address, 2707 Commercial Center. Just, shoot Jennifer a message or follow her on Instagram, whatever you like. But if you need details, you can even message me and I'll be happy to share that information with you. Okay. All right, guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. Anybody have any final words before we wrap up today?
No, just thank you and glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, audience, as you already know, we want to thank you for tuning into the Sisters Talk podcast this evening. Make sure you like, comment, share. Make sure you go to their handles, go follow them, subscribe to their YouTube channels, subscribe to the Sisters Talk podcast channel. Boom. Look at it right there. Don't just look at it. Go subscribe. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next Sunday. Actually, no. We'll see you on June 6th. We're skipping because Memorial Day weekend is coming up. and I just need to get a little wild and loose. Excuse me, kids, but I've been working hard, okay? I need to go on a vacation. So mama going on a vacation, all right? So thank you guys for tuning in. You guys be blessed, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.